This is Minecraft. I've seen Minecraft VR before, but I've never seen anyone actually play Minecraft VR with shaders installed. So today I decided to install a couple of mods, including Distant Horizons and mods like Conquest Reforged that add over 14,000 new blocks to the game to showcase what it's like to play Minecraft VR with these graphics installed. So yeah, this is Minecraft. As you guys can see, just a couple of mods here, nothing too crazy. But the landscapes look absolutely unreal. So I've seen videos online showcasing Minecraft VR before, but they never have shaders enabled or things like Distant Horizons or realistic terrain. So currently I'm playing on a mod pack called Conquest Reforged, and as you guys can see, it just looks fantastic. So let's make our way over here and see if we can get a better view of the mountains. All of this is possible because of a mod called Vivecraft, which I added to Conquest Reforged, and it's kind of incredible. I don't really play a lot of VR, and one of the immediate things that I notice is just the scale of everything. So the world feels so much larger when you're actually in VR versus if you were just playing on flat screen. And these sun rays look fantastic in this shader. And it runs surprisingly smooth. I actually really like the distant haze effects over there. And this is just going to be one of the first maps that I show you. A little bit later on, we'll be checking out a couple of other maps. So these maps were created by RedrangerBuilds, which I'll leave a link for in the description. So right now we're just going to make our way to the lake down there so I can showcase some of the water graphics. So like I was saying, Conquest Reforged adds over 14,000 blocks to the game. So we have things like these tree branches here, which are really cool. And these are just spread throughout the entire landscape here. Whenever you're playing in VR, you really get a sense of scale of how big the world actually is. So for example, this grass that I'm walking through is all waist high for me in real life. But on the screen, it probably doesn't look like it's that big. I really love how in the Bliss shaders, you can actually see the clouds rolling off the mountains. A little bit later on, we're actually going to head to the top of there and see what the view looks like. So making our way to the water here, we have a beautiful lake. And I think one of the best things about the Bliss shaders is actually the water. It looks so good. You can see there's some refraction and distortion when you look into the water, and it distorts the blocks underneath it. And I think one of the coolest things about Conquest Reforged is all the different blocks that it adds. So for example, you have these really cute little rocks here that are just spread all along the waterfront here. And it just looks so cool. So I want to actually head to that side of the lake so we can get a better view of the mountains and the surrounding landscape here. So it's kind of trippy. I don't really play a lot of VR games, so I had to kind of get over the motion sickness and the awkwardness of playing in VR as well as recording it. So how you move in VR is actually based on where your offhand is. So if I was to point it left, I would go left. If I point it right, I go right. And the view from this side looks just fantastic. That actually looks insane. This literally looks like Red Dead Redemption 2. This is just the first map that I'm showing you guys today, and we have plenty more to actually see. I really like the way the sun rays look as well, especially as the world gets more misty as the time changes. And if you guys have been enjoying this video so far, this is just a quick reminder to check if you're subscribed. I'd really appreciate it. It only takes 1 second to do so, and it would really help me out because I'm trying to hit 20,000 subscribers. So thank you so much. All right, let's quickly clear up the weather here and make our way towards those mountains. So I think right here is actually my favorite view because we have the water, and then we have the trees as well. It's a really cool look. I was checking my analytics and I noticed a lot of you guys actually watch on TV. So if you guys are watching on TV, let me know how it looks. I feel like this would look so cool on a big screen. So like I was saying, it's really hard to tell the scale of everything on flat screen. But this little hill right in front of me probably doesn't look like a whole lot, but in real life, it's like 20 feet high. So I'm really curious to see what it's gonna look like when we're on top of the mountains there. And the weather just looks fantastic. So it's starting to turn nighttime here. I think we should actually pull out a torch. And this is actually so cool, being able to see the torch in 3D and like kind of hold it around. So let's make our way through the woods and to the top of the mountain. This is gonna look so cool. But yeah, like I was saying in the beginning, I've never seen anyone actually play through Minecraft VR with shaders and with these specific mods installed. I think it's a really immersive and interesting experience. And if you guys have any more mods that improve VR or you want to see me try out in VR, let me know in a comment. I'd really appreciate it. So something I noticed about the Bliss shaders is just how dark it is. So it's really cool. It gives Minecraft such a cinematic and dramatic sort of look. And I don't know, there's something so cool about holding a torch in your offhand and kind of making your way through the woods at nighttime. This would be so terrifying if I installed like horror mods and had stuff chasing after me, but just walking through the woods, it's very, very peaceful. So here we are at the base of the mountain, and as you can see, there's the lake that we were at a little bit ago, and I would say it takes probably a solid 30 minutes to walk from the lake all the way here to the mountain, and we're not even close to the top. I'm really blown away with mods like Distant Horizons because in-game, my render distance is only about 8 chunks. Alright, so now we're getting closer to the snow that we saw from the bottom. It's actually really cool to see it kind of like sloping down. And you may notice my character's breath kind of coming out. That's part of the dynamic surroundings mod, which adds some ambience to the woods as well as player breath like this. And it's just a fun little ambient mod. But I'm really curious to see what this world's going to look like from the top. So here we are at the top of the mountain, and the view from up here is insane. The sense of verticality that you get in VR is just unmatched. This map was designed to be a showcase of what's possible with Conquest Reforged, so you can kind of see the edges of the map out there. And a little bit later on, we're going to be exploring just a few more maps, and then I'm going to be showcasing my own personal Minecraft map that I've been playing on, so I can showcase not only the landscapes of Conquest Reforged, but also some actual building as well, because there's just so many different blocks that the game introduces. Yeah, to me, this literally looks like Kingdom Come Deliverance or Red Dead Redemption 2, one of those games, and it just kind of blows my mind that this is literally Minecraft. Like, if I put my hands away and I just look around, it definitely looks very convincing. So let's jump to the next map. So this is Meyermouth, and this map is actually semi-famous. I've seen it showcased plenty of times on YouTube Shorts and on things like TikTok, and it's no surprise why. This map, whenever you see it in thumbnails, actually looks like real life. What really gives Conquest Reforged that realistic look is the subtle changes in elevation. If we look through the water here, you can see there's plenty of elevation changes. So the way Conquest Reforged works is it's very similar to how snow works in vanilla Minecraft, meaning you can build everything up layer by layer, but it doesn't apply to just things like snow. So for example, you can do it with things like dirt or gravel, or even things like stone. By doing that, you're able to make these really nice, lush looking landscapes that from a distance actually looks very convincing that it's real life. And then the water also looks fantastic as well. So I guess a little bit of Nick lore here is I'm actually a Florida man, and this really reminds me of home. The only thing that's missing is maybe like a Publix right here. And if you don't know what that is, I can't help you. This is actually so cool just walking through the marshes because the grass is so high. So this grass is literally over my head. It's probably like 7 feet high. And then you kind of have to like wade your way through, and you come out here to the swamp. Let's actually change the time and see what it looks like at sunset. What's really cool is the real-time lighting as well. You can see as the sun is setting, the God rays shining through are slowly going lower, and I'm really excited to actually start showcasing some of the actual building in Conquest Reforged, because so far we've just been looking at landscapes, and this part of the day is my favorite. This is kind of like that blue hour sort of time. Looks really, really cool. So yeah, let's jump to the next map now. So here we are on a beach. Nice beachy little scene here, and it's really cool to see the different types of landscapes. So again, all these maps are created by players, so it's not randomly generated, but a little bit later on when I showcase my own personal Minecraft map, I'll introduce you guys to some mods that I have installed that kind of make the terrain generate like this, so that way you could play it in a normal survival mode gameplay. So a question I get is, can you play these types of maps in survival mode? And I would say not really, just because they are made by players. So if you were to actually fly underneath the map, there's nothing down there. There's no caves. It's just kind of like a flat plane. And also, if you were to cut down these trees, for example, you wouldn't really get wood. You would get whatever they're actually made out of, so these different branch blocks. So it would be very difficult to play in survival mode. So these maps are more just showcases, and they actually make perfect maps to try out Conquest Reforged and actually build. If you guys are interested in seeing me do like a creative mode build in VR, let me know in a comment below. I'd really appreciate it, but I think that'd be so much fun. You could definitely do a lighthouse here, or maybe some sort of dock and big old ships out in the ocean. So as we're making our way down here, you can see all the different blocks that are being used and how much texturing goes into things like the terrain. So we have these nice sloping mountains down into the ocean here, and then islands off on every direction. this would be such a fun map to actually build on and play on. So hopping over to another island here, again, you can see how the terrain is just super gradual and very incremental, but the scale of this world is just crazy. Like I was saying, I'm currently playing on an 8 render distance, so you'd only really be able to see just ahead of us here, but with things like distant horizons and the Bliss shaders, it really lets you see the scale of the world. I like how there's a nice distant haze to the terrain out there, so it looks very, very convincing. But yeah, let's jump to the next map now. So this is Eisenhorn, which is definitely the largest of the Red Ranger build maps. It's a couple thousand blocks by a couple thousand blocks, but I really like this map a lot. I feel like this map definitely has the most atmosphere. You can see some clouds rolling through the mountains here. This is honestly such a vibe just walking through these maps. I could literally spend hours just walking through Minecraft VR with these graphics. So like I was saying at the beginning, you never see Minecraft VR content with shaders installed. And I feel like it's because it's such a niche thing, and it's very hard to get VR to run with the extra graphics mods installed. It's very CPU and GPU intensive, but I feel like if you're able to do it, it's really cool. Another thing too with VR content is it's really difficult to actually record. It took me a solid 2 or 3 days of just troubleshooting to try and get the footage to actually come out smooth and not super shaky. So hopefully you guys appreciate the smoothed out gameplay. So I really appreciate you guys subscribing. It really motivates me to continue doing these. So it's just turning sunset, and that's actually crazy. So the sunset is setting behind us, and you can see the mountain shadow in real time actually going up the mountain. That is actually kind of unreal. I'm kind of blown away right now. So now that it's nighttime, let's put down a torch, and you can actually see the moon rising over the mountains now. So it's kind of interesting with Conquest Reforged is obviously this mod wasn't totally intended for things like VR. There is some quirks about it, but you know, for the most part, it is playable and it runs fairly smooth, especially if you don't run shaders on it. Oh man, in the valley here, seeing the moon over the sky just looks so cool. And next up, I'm really actually excited to show you guys some actual builds because so far we've just seen the landscapes of Conquest Reforged. This is actually so cool. Nighttime is such a vibe in a world like this. So right now it's morning and you can see it's really foggy down here in the valley, and it just looks so cool having the sun shining through the clouds. The volumetric lighting looks so good. This is actually ridiculous. So now the mist is starting to clear out and you can see the top of the mountain there. Oh, this is just unbelievable. So this is my Minecraft world, and what's really cool about this is now I can finally showcase some of the actual building in Conquest Reforged. Up until this point, we've just been checking out some landscapes. So coming through the gate here, this is actually our tavern, which is the Hungry Bear, and I really love the way that the chimney looks with the smoke going above it. And this is the first time I've actually been in this world in VR. So this is part of a YouTube series that I've been kind of playing with. So I've been playing it flat screen, and dude, this is actually weird. This lantern is literally like 3 feet tall just by itself. That's very strange. But it's weird seeing the world in VR and actually being in it because I've only been ever playing it on survival mode, right? So I think today we might as well take a little look around here. There's a couple locations we can check out. One of them being the tavern here, the good old Hungry Bear. Where's my lantern? Here we go. So the Hungry Bear, really cozy tavern, but let's take a little look around here so we can kind of explore the exterior just a little bit. So coming on the side of the tavern here, we have just a little hitch that you can hitch all of your horses at. Conquest Reforged adds tons and tons of different objects to the game. As you can see, we have these little bunters, which are like little flags. And then over here, we have like a water trough for the horses to drink from. Up there, you can actually see a watchtower, which we'll take a look at a little bit later. So what's really cool about this world is that everything is built like really far apart. So we're able to use mods like Distant Horizons and really get to see the scale of the world. But yeah, I feel like the tavern is probably the best building I've ever done just because of all the details we have. Like above the windows here, we have like little outcroppings. And the really cool thing about Conquest Reforged is all the blocks that it adds. So we have windowsills, we have flower planters, we have different timbering along the walls here. If you guys are interested in seeing me start a creative
Conquest Reforged world in VR, let me know in a comment. I'd really appreciate it. But I'm just kind of blown away by this. Like I was saying, in VR, you really get a sense of the scale of the builds. Whenever you're playing on flat screen, it's really hard to tell how big the world actually is. Just on screen, it probably just looks like, oh, that's just a normal sized building. But in real life height here, it's probably, that ceiling is probably 12 feet above me. Another really cool thing about Conquest Reforged, and another reason why I really like it, is because you can really nerd out with the details. So you can see I have some blocks sticking out from the stone wall here. It's really cool. I love adding little details like this around the world. But like I was saying before, Conquest Reforged works like snow in vanilla Minecraft. So everything you make is based on layers. So let's quickly head our way inside the tavern here. Right here we have a little bit of a basement that we'll check out a little bit later. But I love seeing the sun rays kind of shining down on the trees here. Right now it's daytime, but a little bit later on we'll get a nice view of it at nighttime. And it really looks fantastic at night because it kind of shines out as like this beacon of hope during the night. And that's kind of why I made it. But let's head inside now. So there's multiple entrances. We could go through the front door or we could head upstairs. So let's just go through the front door. We might as well. Before we even head inside, something really cool is actually the archways around the door. And having these nice tall oak doors to walk through is really, really nice. So this is the tavern. As you can see, there's a nice second floor, double-story entranceway here. We have plenty of seating that you can store all of your boots, your keys, your clothes. And then over here we have a clothes rack and more shelving for you to put all your clothes whenever you're like, let's say you just got done adventuring and you want to just like, okay, I want to stop in at the tavern. You can throw your coat up. There's like a chest here that you can put all of your stuff in. For me, I absolutely love decorating my Minecraft worlds. And Conquest Reforged lets you just, there's so many different blocks. For example, these stools that you can sit at. You can sit at the table, have your big old drink, the 3-foot tall like bottle here. You have to literally double hand it. But plenty of seating and the vibes are immaculate in here. There would definitely be some heavy drinking going on here. And all kinds of bar games. This bread looks so appetizing right now, just big old chunk of bread. But my favorite part about the tavern obviously is the bar area. You have the nice bunters on top, the chandeliers, the shelf. I'm trying to think of the words. I'm a really big fan of the bar top here. Throw your gold coins out, throw your sword on the table, like, hey, bartender, give me something. Give me that one right there. So it's super cool. It's really cool to actually be sitting here at the bar in Minecraft of all games, right? I eventually want to add like NPCs so you can actually have people to talk to. That way I don't seem like a madman just talking to myself. This actually looks super appetizing. Let me grab some of that. But you can see if we interact with it, it changes into different food items. And this is just the first floor of the tavern. There's actually 3 floors that we can explore here. But it's kind of a toss-up between the fireplace and the bar area as far as what's my actual favorite location in the tavern here. But I really do like the fireplace. I can imagine after a super long hike through the woods, you would just want to hang out here by the fire. We have some stew cooking up there. And obviously you have to have the deer antler. It's not a tavern without one of those. But I really like the ambience in the tavern. It feels really nice and cozy in here. But let's take a walk over to the bar. I wanna introduce myself to this keg over here. Just kind of open it up here. Dude, the keg is actually huge. This thing is massive. But yeah, definitely a cool view from the bar. Nice view of the fireplace. Some like mercenary guy left his sword on my counter here, dirtying up my counter. We probably threw him out of the bar because of that. All right, so that way actually leads to the basement, which we will check out in just a little bit. But let's actually head upstairs and check out the bedrooms. So here we are upstairs. You can see the entranceway is 2 floors. There's more seating up here. This is a survival world, so I have my storages here and stone cutters. But there's just, I really enjoy this tavern. It has such a cozy feel. A little bit later on, we'll actually check out the balcony. But first, let me just show you some of the rooms here. Obviously, all the rooms have really nice archways to get into them. And the rooms are pretty small, but in VR, they actually feel like kind of sizable. Like, look how cozy this bed is. This looks so cozy. This room actually has a nice view of the woods out there, to be honest. I'm really excited to showcase what the tavern looks like at nighttime, because that's when I feel like it has the most vibes and the best ambience. But kind of, oh, there's actually a wandering trader out there. So a little bit later on, we'll head to the balcony so we can get a better view of the watchtower. But all the rooms, there's, I guess technically 3 guest rooms, and then my main room over here at the end of the hallway. Pookie! Oh, this is so adorable. So, I've always wanted to, like, pet the Minecraft dogs. They are so cute. So this is Terra, and then that is Luna, which, I had some viewers offer me name suggestions. These guys are so cute. They're actually adorable. But yeah, this is my bedroom in the tavern. Not the most well decorated because I was playing in survival, so I didn't have a ton of resources, but I own the place, so I get the biggest room. All right, let's actually head outside. You can see beautiful sun rays shining down, and you can actually see my house way off in the distance, so we'll make our way to that a little bit later on. But let's actually, we're gonna head to the watchtower in just a little bit, but let's actually check out the basement. All right, so here we are at the bar again. Let's head downstairs. So the basement has a nice spiral staircase all the way upstairs. But here's the basement. This is where we store all the food, plenty of beer, and just whatever you want to drink down here, honestly. All these bottles have been sitting down here so long, it probably just hits completely different now. But yeah, just a simple little storage room for the tavern. Definitely more of a roleplay element. I like to add just like aesthetics to my build. I don't really care too much about functionality whenever I'm building. But as you can see, the basement down here actually has a nice curved ceiling all the way around, and then some pillars supporting the roof, supporting the ceiling above us. It's really, really cool. And then kind of nerding out about the details here, you can see the walls have like a nice gradient to them. Everything's nicely layered. It looks really, really cool. So there's actually 2 entrances to the basement. Obviously, you can come down the stairs, or you can actually head outside. And this was the staircase that we saw earlier. And it looks like it's nighttime. So this is the perfect time to head towards the watchtower. One of the random little details I added here was I actually threw in like a little drain right there, because I was like, oh, if it rains, it would make sense to have a drain in the basement, right? But like, you know, it's like details like that that really makes Conquest Reforged like my favorite mod pack. Oh yeah, the world looks absolutely gorgeous at nighttime. So let's head towards the watchtower now, so we can get a view of the tavern and some of the other parts of the world. So the tavern is really only one part of the world, and there's a couple of other locations that I want to stop at today. One of the cool things about this world is there's actually a really long pathway from the tavern to our house. So whenever I was making this world, I wanted it to feel very gradual, but whenever you're in VR, all these half slabs and slopes are so much bigger than they look in game. Oh, that is so sick. Having the moon just behind the hall, that is so dope. All right, I really want to show you guys the view from up here. This is gonna look so cool. Oh, there's a little fox over here. Oh my gosh, he's so cute. Dude, that is so sick. So this is the Bear's Den Watchtower, and from up here we get a pretty nice view of the world, even at the base of the tower here. But you can see the Hungry Bear Tavern down there just kind of stands out in the nighttime. Everything else around it is so dark. Over there you can actually see the ruined castle, which we'll take a look at in a little bit, but let's head up to the top of the tower here so we get the best view. It's actually so sketchy walking up these stairs in VR, because it's like your brain is like, dude, you're like in danger. You're gonna fall off a cliff here. So here we are on the watchtower. We have a beautiful view of the tavern, the ruined castle over there. It's kind of hard to see. And then we also have our house that we're going to make our way to. So since it's nighttime, it's actually the perfect time to walk from the tavern all the way over to our house there. But from up on top of the tower, beautiful view of the entire world here. You can see way off in the distance over there is actually an island that's literally like thousands of blocks away. So Distant Horizons really lets you just appreciate the scale of the world. What's special about this world is I use mods like Lithosphere and Still Life to generate the terrain. So I feel like the terrain here looks very similar to the other maps we checked out. But the cool thing with these mods is you can generate a totally playable survival world. So yeah, that's the watchtower. Really, really cozy little spot here. All right, so here we are just outside of the tavern. It's still nighttime, so let's head on through the woods to our house. One of my favorite parts about this world is all the winding pathways that I have that are spread throughout. So as you can see, I used a lot of the blocks from Conquest Reforged to have these nice, slopey, gradual pathways through the woods. And kind of hard to see them, but we have some mobs just out in the woods here. All right, let's pull out our torch. I feel like if you're walking through the woods, you just have a torch out. It's just kind of a thing you do. What's kind of cool about this world is that this pathway isn't like obviously very safe because there's so many mobs walking around. But it's kind of cool. It adds a nice sense of danger to the world, which I think is really, really fun. I like when my worlds have a sense of adventure. I don't like it when they're like super safe and boring. So I really like this pathway just because you can see I have stone little blocks sticking out of the ground using the slabs that are from Conquest Reforged. And it's just a really cool, like, vibey pathway through the woods. Oh, we actually have a creeper. I want to get a close-up look at this guy. He's literally so cute. You're so cute, buddy. Oh, actually, that is so sick. Seeing the moonlight kind of shining down on the pathway, that is so dope. So it actually takes a solid, like, 5 minutes to walk from the tavern all the way to the house, even with the pathway. I really like when I have my builds kind of spread out from each other. It just makes the world feel so much more special. And it's like, okay, there's actually a reason for me to explore the world and walk around, right? But yeah, if you guys are interested in seeing this world be built, I'll leave a link for a playlist in the description so you guys can check out all the videos. All right, so here we are back at home. You can see the smoke coming out of the chimney here. And this house has just the most gorgeous view of the watchtower and the ocean. So let's check it out. And we can see the watchtower from down here. But I really like this house. It's super, super cozy. But as you can see, we have some wood beams supporting up these little trusses. And then you have windowsills and vines growing off. It's just a really vibey little home. Actually, it looks like it's turning daytime, so let's head on over to this side of the house so we can get a better view of the valley. Oh, dude, this is actually so cool. I've seen this world so many times, but actually playing it in VR and seeing it is so sick. So obviously there's the watchtower. You can see the tavern down there, and then over there is the ruined castle, which we'll make our way to in just a little bit. But it's turning daytime. And what's crazy about this world is it's so big that I haven't even explored those mountains way over there. I really like the way that still life and Lithosphere generates terrain in this game. A little bit later on, we'll actually head to the balcony, which is the best view of this. But I really like the way the chimney looks with the smoke rising up there. Looks so, so cool. So yeah, just underneath the house here is like this little hitching area where you can put all your horses. Plenty of water, plenty of hay for them to eat from. So this area has a nice little archway, which looks so much better than it just being plain blocks. And of course you have a room where you can just throw all your stuff after you're done adventuring. Like over here you can put your keys on the wall here. Put your hang up your coat, throw up your hat. You have a chest here that you can just throw all your stuff in whenever you're done with it. And of course we have our dogs here too. So yeah, this is our living room. And I feel like the living room honestly was my best work because you have this 2-story atrium sort of effect with the chandelier up there, and then obviously the fireplace and the 2 antlers on either side. But hey baby, so cute. And then obviously on this side we have like a little dining area sort of thing, so you can sit here, have your mug of whatever you want to drink, like lamb chops. You got the Costco rotisserie chicken right here. You got some bookshelves, the fireplace, the seating, and then obviously the upstairs. So let's check that out. I really want to show you guys the balcony because that's the best view of the map. Actually, I'm going to sit down on the couch here. Wait, this is so weird. I literally have my real life dog is like giving me the side eye. He's like, what are you talking about? I have like my Minecraft dog here on this like virtual couch. And then in real life, you can't see him, but in real life, my dog is like on the floor in her bed. So this is heaven right now. But I really like the fireplace. It looks fantastic. And here we are on the upstairs room. So here's that seating area that's upstairs. I'll show you guys some of the extra bedrooms that we have. So the bedrooms are empty because in survival mode I don't really have a lot of wool that I can use to actually furnish the house. But I really like this balcony section. I feel like this is just such a cool view of the living room down below, and then obviously the landscape out the window. And obviously in here we have the office, which is also open. So it's kind of, I guess a loft is really the word for this room. Alright, just some additional bedrooms on this side. They're not really furnished. I want to show you guys the balcony because this is the best part of the house. Up here we just have the best view of the ruined castle, the tavern, the watchtower, and then obviously the mountains off on that side that are still completely unexplored. And then way off in that direction is actually the ocean. So this world's pretty big. Let's actually head to the ruined castle now. This is going to actually be so much fun. Whenever I'm playing this world normally, it's so cool to walk through the woods because you have the ambient noises. I usually have like Skyrim music playing, and the woods are just so gloomy and dark, and they're actually super dangerous to walk through even during the day. But let's make our way through here and head off to the castle. So the reason I wanted to make this castle was because I thought it'd be really cool if you were at the house or at the watchtower over there, and being able to have this sort of backdrop. So there's not really a whole lot going on here. It's more of just like a facade that you can look at, but I still think it looks pretty cool. Right now it's a little bit cloudy, so you can see some grain from the clouds, but whenever the weather clears up, you can actually see the watchtower over there. You can see the house, and this castle just kind of acts as this little backdrop that you can look at from a distance. So here at the top of the castle, the sense of scale here is just so crazy. Seeing how big this build actually is in real life is kind of nuts to me. But from here, it's a little bit of a foggy morning today, so we can't quite see the ocean, but just off in that direction is our island, and we can see a little bit of the ocean on this side. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this VR Minecraft video. If you want to see more of this, let me know in a comment, and I really appreciate you subscribing. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next one.